I am here with Emma Newman, one of our Academy coaches. Thank you so much for being here, Emma.
Thank you for having me, Greg.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start off, who's your audience? Who do you love to coach and what inspires you about them?
Mm, I've been recently looking at this a bit more. So coming out of art of enrollment, I saw that I love working with young professionals and change makers. And more recently, I've seen that I really enjoy working with people who value health, intentional living, and investing and contributing to their local economy and community. I've always
Mm.
valued being a contributor to my community since I was a kid. And so connecting with other individuals and supporting more local investment and intentional living, that makes a healthier, world for all of us, healthier communities, and us all healthier on the individual level really lights me up.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell. It's so great. I'm glad you got that uh, new level of clarity for who you love to serve. And for those watching who don't know, the Art of Enrollment is one of our core courses at the Academy uh, Coach Training Program. Um, what are you celebrating right now in your coaching practice or just in general?
I am celebrating hosting my very first book study on the energy of money, a book I read many years ago and has helped shape how I relate to money in my life. And so I'm going to be offering a book study, convening a group of young professionals and change makers who want to look at more intentionally using money in their life, having a transformational experience where they feel empowered and excited about their relationship with money.
Hmm. Oh, that's so great. Yeah, I'd love to hear a little bit more about this because the relationship with the energy of money is so powerful. Um, Say a little bit more about what you mean by having a transformation with money.
Yeah, I think that it's so easy to worry about money, to feel like there's never going to be enough of it. How we relate to money, there are lessons to be learned in the realm of money that can be applied in all areas of our life. And so I love how specific money is, how ripe it is for a conversation in this group learning environment. And so I'm excited to support others to feel empowered with money and be able to channel not only their money, but also other forms of energy like time to really align their use of money with their values.
Hmm. I love that. I know alignment is kind of a theme in your coaching. What does alignment look like for your clients who you serve?
Alignment looks like seeing what's really most important to them and going for it. I have just loved supporting individuals who have goals and dreams, and so many different things come up when we're going for our goals and dreams, but they have pursued and been able to live the dreams that they had as just a thought at one point in time. Working with one client in particular, supporting her to launch her own private practice because of the money management skills that she developed with me through money mentoring. On a personal level, she applied it to her private practice, felt more empowered in her relationship with her partner and being able to converse clearly and in a very confident way. It's just so wonderful to align with, okay, this is important to me. And now I'm demonstrating and living my values.
That's great. So did you say money mentoring? That's
Money
something you,
mentoring.
yeah. So tell me more about that. It's something you offer in addition to coaching?
Correct. Yeah. So it's actually how I got my business started. I started working during the pandemic with individuals and couples who wanted to be clearer with their finances. Maybe they, you know, knew that they wanted to someday own a home or get out of debt or be able to retire. And they knew that if they just kind of blundered along and never looked at their money or occasionally looked at their bank account balance, they weren't going to get there. And so I started working with money mentoring clients to develop a budgeting practice, to set clear goals and a vision for like, what would being successful with money in your life look like? And so it's been wonderful to support those clients in addition to taking on life coaching clients at the start of this year.
Great. So mentoring and coaching are a little bit different, as you and I know. Could you say a little bit more about uh, the difference for you and why you decided to get trained as a coach in addition to just doing the money mentoring?
Yeah. So the money mentoring is mentoring, exactly that. There are elements such as teaching concepts, very practical skills. Both coaching and the money mentoring have a visioning component because it's helpful to know, well, where are we headed? What would success look like if our work together accomplishes what we set out to do? But the mentoring is really more of using some of my own knowledge and experience and teaching concepts to those clients so that they can develop their skills and establish specific practices to live with more fulfillment with money in their life. Whereas coaching is focused more on what's coming up and getting in the way for people that they're not reaching their goals.
That's great. I love that you uh, offer both side by side. You can imagine how big that is for your clients. I'm curious, how has your own coaching training and your own journey getting trained as a coach, being coached, benefited your personal journey as, somebody who's uh, always been involved with civic engagement and change making? How's it affected your personal journey?
Where to start? So I worked with my first coach, 𝗩ɪᴅᴇᴏ, back in 2012 and was fortunate to go to the Academy's foundational course around that time when I was graduating college. And so I was at a big transition point in my life from working as a climate activist, kind of student, highly involved in my community through my college setting, to going out and finding my first career and starting in the transportation planning profession that I have been in for the last decade. How coaching supported me was to see along that way, like what was really most important to me. I can clearly remember when I got some coaching support on a relationship I was in and seeing that it was time for the relationship to end, but how to close that relationship out in which I could still be friends and really be my best self in bringing closure and moving on. So it's helped in that realm. It's provided clarity on how I can be me and really produce more creative and fulfilling results in my interactions with coworkers over the years. And more recently, I worked with a coach just within the last couple of years to support me with seeing whether or not I wanted to become a coach and working through some health items. My coach wasn't specifically, giving me advice on how to take action on my health, but helping me see what my next step was to get help from different practitioners to figure out how to consistently take the actions that were needed to support me on my healing journey.
Hmm. I imagine that has something to do with your own interest in supporting people in their own health through your coaching practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really hard to show up and contribute what I wish to in the world if I'm not feeling well in my body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. I love that you're pointing to contribution as well. It's not just about feeling well, but feeling well so that you can contribute, but you're here to contribute. It's great. What are some of the biggest challenges that you've experienced so far in your coaching career, and what's been supportive to move past them?
Mm. One of the biggest challenges right now is I recently left my job, and in the last couple of months of that job, working as a senior transportation planner for my local city, I really focused on closing out that work well and supporting my coworkers. So I didn't dedicate quite as much time to bringing on new clients, and I've had some of my initial clients from the beginning of the year wrap up with me. And so enrolling new clients is just taking a bit of time, but I'm also really enjoying the process. What's working as a way to move through it is to reach out to people and just say, hey, I'm open. I have this practice. This is what I have to contribute. What are you seeing might be helpful to individuals I might work with? and exploring different collaborative relationships. There's a University of Oregon AmeriCorps program that I'm in initial conversations with. Oh, how might I bring my professional experience, my mentoring, my training, and coaching to support young professionals who are doing work in rural communities all throughout Oregon.
Great. I love it. This is a similar question, but what is one breakthrough that you've had as a coach?
Continuing to have it and practice my skill, but asking for support. I'm really seeing that it is a gift to provide people the opportunity to support me. It's an opportunity for connection, for relationship building, for building the community that I wish to be part of through showing up and asking for support. And when I'm not asking for support, I am often in my own head, worried about any number of things that are personal. And when I'm in that space, I'm not experiencing life to be nearly as fulfilling, and I'm not contributing and providing the impact that I wish to have in the world. So really asking for support and keeping my focus on other individuals and less on myself.
Yeah, it's a great principle you're pointing to. Taking the attention off of yourself helps to quiet those worries and doubts. Yeah, I love that as a breakthrough, using support in your career. Where are some of the areas that you found support?
Friends, family, other friends who are therapists who are starting their own private practices. Well, therapy practice is different than coaching. They're going through some of the same challenges of how do I set up a business structure? How do I find health insurance that's not through a W-2 salaried position? We can share a lot of those mutual learnings and resources. And so that's been really helpful. It's been helpful to connect with other ACE coaches. Just over the last couple of weeks, I've connected with Slam Johnson, and they've helped out with looking at my niche, like who is it who I'd love to be serving? How might I be more effective with my work? And so just really reaching out and saying, hey, I said goodbye to my previous team in my former work situation. How can I assemble my new team of colleagues? Given that I'm a self-employed individual, I can still have a team. And so I'm in the process of developing that team.
I love that. I think it's such a common experience at the Academy for Coaching Excellence, and something that I think is unique is this opportunity to feel like you're part of a team and to be part of a team, even as you have your own solo business, and that community of support, I know, is so helpful for people. So I'm so glad you're tapping into it.
I would say in particular with the coaching program, the peer group has been incredibly helpful. I feel so fortunate to have 3 other coaches who are meeting with me regularly. We meet 2 times per month, and we get to bring any number of things to our meetings, whether it's a desire to spend some of our time doing coaching practice or bringing up learnings from our sessions with our mentor coaches. It's been so wonderful to be on the journey together and have peers to celebrate, but also work through the more challenging aspects as we're all developing our own coaching practices.
Brilliant. What advice might you give someone who's considering a career as a coach?
Some advice that my mentor coach gave me, and I have been appreciating lately, is to have a stable income when starting your practice. Whether that's savings that you've saved up and you have a runway to live off of for a while, or if it's starting your coaching practice while you're still working another job, it's really helpful to have stable finances, especially when you're bringing on your first clients, because it just quiets all of the concerns around the money, and you can focus on doing the work instead of, am I going to have food on the table? Am I going to have a roof over my head?
Yeah, that's such a great point. And I think something a lot of times you see ads for coaching programs, or see little pitches, and it's like, in 1 month you're going to be making $100,000 a week or something like that. And I'm sure that's happened to a couple people, but the people that I've seen successful as coaches are doing what you said, which is uh, planting some slow roots and really gathering clients authentically over time, so that in a year or two they can transition to doing it full time, sometimes quicker than that, but really building up a foundation so that they're not scrambling to get the clients. Appreciate that perspective in particular. What would you say to your past self just starting off your coaching career?
I think back to 2018. So I took Empowering Life's Energies at that point, and I took the course with a limiting belief of, I'm furthering my skills. This is a course to learn how to better support others with the things that I've benefited from with this coaching model. But I wasn't seeing myself as a coach. It wasn't until just a year or two ago that I started to have that possibility. And when I revisited the coach training program and just saw jumping off the webpage, this program is to support others to be their best selves. Like, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. To 𝗩ɪᴅᴇᴏ's credit, he saw it back in 2018 on my behalf, and even said to me, like, the next best thing for you to do is enroll in Empowering Life's Energies as soon as possible. And so I took the course, but I took it without the real ownership of seeing myself as coach. And so that delayed my coaching journey by a few years. And I'm glad I've since kind of moved on from that limiting thought.
Good. Good. The world's glad that you're showing up for coaching, because you have such a heart of a coach. What's the greater impact that you see that you can make in the world as a coach? There's like the impact you can make for individuals, and I know that you have sort of a vision for an even bigger impact in the world. So what do you see as the difference you can make?
It's still evolving, and I will share that I took a racial justice retreat for white women led by 2 ACE trained coaches over this last weekend. And that helped me see how coaching is a way to bring about and be racial justice in our world. It's the opposite of some of the systems that continue to produce such inequitable results in our communities, and that's something I really care about. So by being intentional, by leaning into discomfort, by really looking at what's important to us and showing up with our whole selves in our interactions with others, it can profoundly change the outcomes, whether it's in public policy making, in individual interactions. It's a process of building relationship, and through doing so, we can bring about a healthier and more just world.
Well said. That's beautiful. I see more and more coaches with similar visions of the justice work that can be done through this coaching model. So I'm glad you're engaging with it in that way. Powerful stuff. If somebody watching this got nothing else out of watching this video, what would you love for them to take away?
Say that everyone has their own tune to play. And so I hope that you watching this video think about what it is that you specifically are feeling called to do in life. It may be coaching, it may be something else, but you have what it takes to do it. So go for it.
Brilliant. I love it. Well, thanks so much for your time and your perspective and your wisdom. It's a privilege to chat with you today.
Thank you so much, Greg. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So we'll share the link to your website in the comments. Anything else you want people to know if they want to get in touch with you somehow?
Please go to emmacoaching.com if you'd like to be part of the Energy of Money book study that's about to kick off. Register by Sunday, September 18th if you'd like the early bird discount. Otherwise, you have till the end of the month of September 2022 to enroll. We'll be starting the first week of October.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon, Emma.
Okay. See ya.